Hi, I'm Grace,
I'm Isaac,
and we read the book Up From Slavery.
and we're going to do a book review about it.
The author of this book is Booker T. Washington, and he was born on April 5th, 1856, in Franklin County, Virginia. He was born a slave on a plantation and worked there until his late teens. Then he traveled to study at the Hampton Institute, and Washington's qualified to write this book because it's about his life and all the hardships that he had to endure during it.
Booker T. Washington was a slave, and when he was 9 years old, him and his family gained freedom under the Emancipation Proclamation, as U.S. troops occupied their region they were living in. Washington was always interested in pursuing his education. That same interest led him to create the Tuskegee Institute. He wanted this school to be used to train African Americans in agriculture and industry and promote the economic progress of his race.
Some of our personal experiences while reading this book was that we were really intrigued by the stories that Washington described to us. We were surprised to learn about how hard it was for someone to obtain an education, especially a person of color. We struggled to fully understand what it would have been like to leave our families like that at such a young age and travel hundreds of miles just to chase our dreams. We struggled to fully realize what he had to do on his way to Hampton because we would never be in an unfortunate situation like that. Sometimes while we were reading, we would think about how much easier it is nowadays for people in our country of all colors to get an education. Up From Slavery opened our eyes to the awfulness of slavery then, and how some of the things that happened then are still present now in 2018.
Washington starts the book by giving us a look inside his background as a child and the work that he had to do on the plantation he grew up on. He then transitions into writing about his teenage years and his travels from his hometown to Hampton Institute, where he got his early education and started his career. Throughout the book, Washington highlights major themes of slavery and oppression towards black people. As the book nears its conclusion, Washington talks about his travels to different places to speak to large groups of people and fundraise for Tuskegee University. Washington makes sure he includes all the social, political, and economic aspects of life during this time so that us, as the reader, know what's going on and can be well informed.
This book is an autobiography, so it's kind of hard to try and fact check and critique his arguments because it's all based on his own experiences and all of his own feelings. Washington could sometimes be harsh on the members of his own race. It's just because he expected a lot from them because they had to work that much harder to be successful. The reason behind this was because he knew they had to work so much harder to be successful in life. Because of the time period, Washington's diction could sometimes be old-fashioned and hard to follow. But Washington was never wrote arbitrarily because it was all from personal experiences and situations. It's hard to nullify his writing because we don't really know what his life was like and what he experienced and what he felt.
The way that Washington presents his story to us seems very accurate to other books and texts that we have read from this time period because we believe that he's very fair and honest with the way that he writes and portrays the racism and social injustice that black people and other people of color had to go through at this time. Washington just wants to share his life story and everything he had to overcome on his path to be successful.
Up From Slavery holds a lot of historical information, and it shows a lot of the hardships that the individual African American had to go through from a first-person perspective, which is unique because usually we don't see that. This book includes a lot of first-hand accounts of the early events of the Civil Rights Movement. Up From Slavery is similar to other books and texts written about slavery, like Frederick Douglass's autobiography called Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, and 12 Years a Slave written by Solomon Northup.
Thank you so much for getting to the end of the video. We hope you found this video helpful.
I hope you guys enjoyed the book as much as we did. It's really informative and it's definitely worth the read. And again, we really appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. So, bye.